Hello and welcome back to the channel. Slightly weird one today because you're starting the video in the boot of a car. You probably know which car because you've read the YouTube title. Yeah, a bit of a different one. You started the video in the boot of a car, and I'm also going to try and do a whole thing on my new iPhone because there's an analogy here for the car and iPhone. So I've just upgraded to an iPhone 12 Pro Max. I've just come up from an XS Max, and you know what these things are like. You kind of do it every 2 years out of habit, and you're not really sure what you're paying for. And yes, that's the BMW M2 CS, and the same analogy could well apply. Is it worth the 24 grand premium over the M2 Competition? Let's find out, I think. Right, whole video on an iPhone. What could go wrong? Couldn't be much worse production values than usual, could it? And I know there's someone going to be in the comments saying that, so I've preempted you, smart ass. Yeah, so M2 CS then, as we all know, it's a very, very high-end BMW M2. It came out earlier in 2020 and it cost £75,000, which for context is the same as a Porsche Cayman GT4, the 718 version. Well, probably the old one as well, to be honest, because they've held their money ridiculously well. So what do you get for your 75 grand on the M2 CS? Let's have a quick walk around. First up, it looks bloody phenomenal. The M2 Competition already looked like a small, punchy, but pumped up thing. And this kind of takes it to the next level, doesn't it? Oh yeah, look at that. It's just a beautiful thing. And in this black with gold wheel spec, I think it looks delicious. One thing I'm just gonna get in straight away. These gold lightweight wheels, you can, I think, get them on an M2 Competition. I think Chris Harris has got them on his. The gold doesn't match the calipers. Doesn't match my new iPhone either, because obviously I've tested that out. But yeah, it looks really quite nice. Obviously, those gold calipers denote that you've got BMW's carbon ceramic brakes, which are an option on this car to reduce unsprung mass along the wheels. We'll talk about in the driving, but the main things you get, obviously, it looks different to the normal M2 Competition. You have got this vent here, which when you look at it really closely, don't know if you can see that, it's carbon fibre bits in there, and it does go through to the engine bay. I'll pop the bonnet in a second to look at that. But as well as that whole new bonnet scoop, and obviously this bonnet is made out of a special material that hopefully we'll see in a minute, you've got carbon fibre bits down here, all along the front splitter. That's all carbon fibre. Really don't want to hit that in a car park. That would probably be a very, very expensive, sad times. Likewise, I don't want to curb the wheels at all because they also look horrendously expensive, and obviously I don't like curbing wheels anyway. What about the back? Great question, Tim. Round the back, the differences are more subtle. You've got this lovely carbon fibre spoiler, which is quite motorsporty. Obviously, you've got the CS badge as well. Also, it just looks pretty mean and pretty butch. And you've got the familiar quad tailpipes as well, which are actually reasonably quiet on this car. Probably because of emissions. I've accidentally zoomed in. Right, let's see. We'll do the interior in a minute. Let's just pop El Bonneto. Yes, I know I've opened the bonnet. Right, how long does it take me to work out the bonnet catch on this car? Oh, there isn't one. Oh, that's pretty nice, isn't it? So this is BMW's S55 engine. It's a 6-cylinder, 3-litre, twin-turbo, straight six. I've said too many words there. This is the same engine that's in the M4 and the M3, the ones that are just about to be replaced. And yeah, 444 horsepower now, so that's up at 25 horsepower-ish, I think, over the M2 Competition. That's all at the top of the rev range. Obviously, like the M2 Competition, you get the carbon fibre strut brace. It's just very pretty. Can you see the magic material? It's a kind of carbon fibre doodah. It's lightweight. It's lovely. It sounds like plastic, but hey, plastic is motorsport, remember that. And that is where that bonnet scoop vents through to. That's cool, isn't it? It's interesting. Oh yeah, there's no bonnet catch because you have to pull the lever twice. Clever. Right, one thing that might be quite tricky to see here is it's got a carbon fibre roof. It's so reflecty. There you go, you can see it in the shadow of my hand. It's this really pretty carbon fibre pattern. And that is the same roof that is on the BMW M2 GT4 race car. Carbon mirrors as well, look at that. It's just a very, very punchy package. And it's just so squat. And when it's been parked outside my house, you come out every morning to kind of this view. And it's just, it girds my loins, put it that way. Right, that's enough about the outside of the M2 CS. Let's hop inside. Excuse all of the bird crap on it and all of my mess in the car. Right, the eagle-eyed petrol head enthusiasts among you will have noticed that and that. This is a manual. You can get it with BMW's quite brilliant, frankly, DCT automatic gearbox, or you can get it as a manual. I'll talk about that in the driving bit, but basically that's quite good. Don't slag it off. The DCT is also very good. Don't slag it off. Just stop slagging gearboxes off, guys. The steering wheel, frankly, too thick. It's got that. It's nice, it's pleasing, but it's, I don't know, it feels just like it's too chunky to me. It's lovely that it's covered in Alcantara, whoever he is. Otherwise, you're getting a 2 Series cabin, which for 75 grand is, well, it's punchy, isn't it? But that's not why you're buying this car. You've got CS thing in Alcantara there, and you've got these lovely BMW bucket seats with the light up logo and also the little stripes on it to tell you that you're in an M car. Fantastique. What's also new is carbon fiber center console transmission tunnel thing. I think it's purely aesthetic, but hey, it's quite nice. Is it the cabin of a 75 grand special? It's not bad, but I think a Cayman GT4 feels a bit more like a sense of occasion. Fluffy door cards. Right, not going to do the infotainment because it's an M2 CS and that is a very boring thing to spend time talking about. So obviously, if you're buying an M2 CS, you're spending 75 grand on a 2 Series, so you probably care about how it drives more than anything else. And when you get in it, first impressions are really, really good. You can set your driving position just so. You can get your seat quite low and steering wheel in standard Helm Smith position of all the way down, all the way out, wrists on the top, happy days. You feel really at home and really comfortable in here. But enough about that. How does it actually drive? I've come to the Church of Oversteer to tell you I won't be doing any of that. I won't do any of that, but I accidentally did some coming out the gravel car park. Manual gearbox. First thing you notice in this particular car, people kind of diss BMW manual gearboxes. I mean, I haven't driven a BMW manual gearbox in probably 5 years, but it's fine. It's notchy, it's nice. People say they're rubbery. I don't really think that at all. It's perfectly good. And it's got blipper on the downshift as well. So if you're wearing massive boots like I am today, you can still rev match, just not yourself. Well, you can do it yourself, it's not too hard. When you start driving quickly, and I realise I'm doing this in a 40 limit at the moment, but hey, I drove it quickly earlier. The thing that actually strikes you isn't how tail happy it is. It's not, you know, obviously it can do that, but it's just how nailed on the front axle is. All the little suspension changes that they've made to this, and things like the lightweight wheels that it's on, and this car's got carbon ceramic brakes, that reduction in unsprung mass just means the response is really quick, but you can just lean on it. And I don't really remember driving many BMWs where the front axle is a highlight, but it is in this. And when you kind of load it up into a quick corner, it does just grip. Right. Yeah, struggling for traction in second gear. It's quite damp. I've just got everything in Sport Plus at the moment, using the M2 button. I'm being fairly ginger because it is wet and the tyres are a bit cold. It's torquey. It feels much like the M2 Competition. I'm struggling to notice the extra, what is it, 25 horsepower of the M2 Competition. It all happens at the top end, and it's such a torquey engine that you're doing very, very silly speeds by the time you get to that top end. But still, it's got a nice noise to it. It's not a howly straight six. I think petrol particulate filters have seen to the end of that kind of nonsense, which is a pity. I know I've used the word surprising a lot in this review already, but the one thing that stands out for me is probably one of the most minor tuning things, and that's the Active M differential. When you get into a corner and you get on the power, you're kind of waiting for it to kick wide and to stab into oversteer, kind of like, anyway, the M4 does in that slightly scary sort of way. But it doesn't, it just hunts out grip. And it's actually got a phenomenal amount of rear axle grip when you're on the power out of the corner. A bit less in greasy conditions like this, but in the dry, This must be an absolute weapon. Obviously it's designed for track days, so happy days. Yeah, you can kind of sense it really hunting out the grip with fat back tyres. And if you want to, obviously you can stamp on the accelerator and get a little bit of angle on, but you know, not going to be doing that. Sometimes it's quite easy to be intimidated by these turbocharged M cars. I've certainly had a bit of history with them. I've never quite crashed one, but I always seem to drive them in autumn when it's greasy. And actually, I've probably got more confidence in this than I would have in a mid-engine Cayman GT4, because this lets go relatively gradually when it does slide. Cayman does as well, but you've got more chance of catching this. You're probably wondering what carbon ceramic brakes feel like. They're really good, unsurprisingly. I have to say, in Sport Plus mode, throttle response is probably a bit too sharp, and I've been driving it wearing fairly clumpy boots, and I have kangarooed like an absolute beginner once or twice. Manual handbrake, that's good, not done any handbrake skids. The question is, does this feel 24 grand better to drive than M2 Competition, which was already one of my favourite cars? Just feel the back end jinking slightly as it hunts out grip. It's a magical feeling, it's really cool. If I'm allowed to have a slightly old man whinge about the M2 CS, and there's a problem shared by a lot of cars, is that once you have explored the reaches of second gear, you're breaking the speed limit by quite a lot. It's a phenomenally quick car, and you just, yeah, if you're going to make the most of it on the road, be prepared to hide from the police a fair bit. I know that is such an old man boring thing to say, but it's true. But you can take this on track. It's not going to wilt on tracks, especially this one with carbon ceramic brakes. So yeah, please, if you buy one of these, you lucky person, take it to a track day and put videos on YouTube, because I'd like to watch them. I drove the M2 Competition, the kind of 50 grand M2 Competition, this time last year, and that had the DCT automatic. And this is going to be a controversial opinion, but I would have the automatic rather than the manual. This is fine, but that DCT gearbox is bloody good, it's dramatic, and it does what you tell it to. It will hold gears if you want to. Oh yeah, it's really fast. It kind of feels not that turbocharged, this S55 engine. I know when it first came out, everyone was kind of bowled over by the torque, but now everything is turbocharged, everything's got that slug of torque. This actually feels relatively natural, the way it kind of, the speed increases as the revs rise. I'm being blinded. Right, I'm just going to jump in here with a few more things about why the M2 and the M2 CS are very, very good cars to drive. Number one is that there aren't really driving modes. You just have buttons to adjust the throttle response and engine map, the suspension dynamic dampers, and the steering weight. That's it. And they, if you can see, are all displayed up there. So you can go to Sport, Comfort and Sport Plus on all three of those things. So you can, if you want to, have the engine in Sport Plus, the steering in Sport, and the dampers in Comfort. So you can then assign those to one of these M buttons. Sorry, it's super dark, so it's going to be grainy, even on the new iPhone Pro 12 Max, whatever it is. So yeah, you can assign those to those buttons, and that's it. There aren't any kind of overall driving modes. It's dead simple. Also, while I'm driving it, I just want to point out one negative thing is this is all really creaky. This car's got some miles on it. So look how many miles this car got at, 6,437, and it's already creaky. I guess it's a 2 Series. This was an inexpensive car this is based on. So now it's 75 grand. That's a bit naff, really. Still really liking the manual shift. Anyway, back to more driving stuff. So in conclusion, I really, really, really like the way the M2 CS drives. I would argue that a Cayman GT4 feels slightly more rewarding in terms of feeling that mid-engine balance. Obviously this is front engine rear-wheel drive. It's a bit more vanilla than a Cayman. But it feels a bit like a German hot rod, like a muscle car. And now in CS form, it feels a tiny little bit more controlled. Don't know if that's worth an extra 24 grand over an M2 Competition though. Just not sure. I think we're at the point of diminishing returns. There's still a bloody good car, right? That was sort of an overall conclusion, but hey, do another conclusion, Tim. Me professional. Oh yeah, that front end. Whee! This car does feel phenomenal when you really pick up the pace and start attacking corners. That's great fun. But then so is the M2 Competition. Woo! So is the BMW M2 CS worth £75,000? Well, if you've already got BMW M2 Competition, you've already got one of the best sports cars on the market, and they're now down to about 40 grand second hand. I don't think this is really worth the extra 25 grand over a new M2 Competition. You're into the realms of diminishing returns. The basic package is so good, the M2 Competition is so good. It's, I don't know, they're both very, very good cars. I would say this is maybe 5% sharper. You don't really notice the extra power on the road. If you're doing track days and you want carbon ceramic brakes and the lightweight bits and you want to have a very special car, go and buy one. But try a Cayman GT4 first, because by the time you're into the £75,000 price bucket, let's be honest, there are far, far more special options than a hotted up 2 Series. And I don't really want to diminish this because it is bloody good, but I would have a Cayman GT4 for that money. Admittedly, you've then got Porsche options, which are even more expensive than BMW options, so it will end up costing you more money. But yeah, the M2 CS is a very good car. It's a bloody good car, in fact, but so was the M2 Competition, and that's kind of the only real problem with this, is that you can get much the same feeling, 25 grand less. And for 25 grand, you could almost afford a Toyota GR Yaris, which is the whole internet's favorite car of the moment. Stick 5 grand on top and you'll be there. Anyway, enough about Toyotas and BMWs. Thank you ever so much for watching. Hopefully this has been okay shot on my iPhone. Let me know in the comments if the quality was any good and if it made up for all the utter horseshit that's been coming out of my mouth. But thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, hit my bell, and I'll see you very soon. And be nice to each other in the comments. BMW fanboys, I'm watching you. Oh no, how do I stop you if you're following me?